Hey everybody, Andy's Free Guitar Chart videos here. We're going to run another lesson because we had a little problem with last time's lesson trying to explain the A minor pentatonic effect. And so we'll be running part B of the lesson on 541 here. It's going to be 541. We're not going to worry about 540 now. We've got what we need from 541 rather. Chart and 540. Chart 542, Blues Master Key. I mean, it's just a title, but we're going to learn some techniques today if you can pick up on it. So let's dig right in. We talked about the A minor pentatonic yesterday, and I'm sorry that I messed it up. I really did. I'm not sure what I actually said, and if I redid the video, I would edit it out. I don't have time to rerun the entire video and clip it down because I think the segment where I was teaching there has some redeeming value, so we'll just leave it in. But we're always clarifying if possible as we go along. We make corrections as we go along. So if you look at an older video, something might be not quite right, but that has redeeming qualities, and it's also correcting previous misunderstandings. So we just, as we move along, we're going to be knowing more and more and more. The most important concept I can get across to you here on the updated chart 541 is that when I talk about the A minor pentatonic, all right, in this cage here, we're considering this as a shape. It is only the true A minor pentatonic, okay, when we're playing in the key of C here, and this 3 is your E, where we put the capo right here. This is where your E is, so this would be the C, and then this would be A minor. So A minor pentatonic is just a C pentatonic. Okay, right there, and then you can start the A minor from that second string and make it truly an A minor pentatonic there. Okay, where would that blues note be? It would be right where we just talked about yesterday on the first string of the S3S. So what we got here, we're going to be starting on the top string, second string of the S2L. Okay, takes me a little while sometimes. So let's talk about this chart here. This is a carryover from the previous chart. So we talked about how this is just the same thing here, but the real action in this chart takes place with these two fretboards. Now you notice they look the same, but they're not, because the top fretboard has our root key of the blues header up on top of the cages here, and the bottom fretboard has the blues master key headers up on top of the fretboard, but that's not the only difference. You see what I've done here is, if we look at the root key of the blues here, okay, now remember the rule is, to make it simple, that the blues master key, okay, the blues pent key 1, and then there's a 4 and a 5, but blues pent key 1 is derived as follows. You take a C major chord, make it C minor, and then its parent becomes E flat major. This is the root of the blues magic master key, and as as implemented in the key for the key of C as root pent of the blues. Okay, so that's where a blues master key comes from. So what I've done here is, and I've done this in the past, and I did it cautiously, because if you do this too quickly, you could get confused. And that is, I adjusted this fretboard so that the root here, which is the 3 flat of the root key of the blues, is now the root of the blues master key. Why did I do that? So we can see the shapes better when we go into the blues key. Now I hate to lose this, but I think I brought enough information down from here that we can see what's going on here. If we can also see the major, the root key of the blues. So I guess we could start in D. You know, for argument's sake, we could start in the D blues. Now I like to do this down here on my. I've been doing an open string. We'll compromise. I'm going to put it on a real deal D, but this is a D shape C here, and here's a D on the bottom string. Okay, so the blues, the root key of the blues would be a D shape. Remember, these are all shapes, so we're going to have this D minor pen here. That's not necessarily going to be a D minor, okay, unless we're in the key of F, because D minor is the relative sixth of F. So let's just consider these floating shapes right now. Okay, R is D here, and we're going to go D, G, A. So we're going to do something like, we're going to do our D, A, okay, we got D, and then we got G, and then we have the A if we want to do the fifth, but we're not going to run right into the fifth yet. So that's our tripentatonic for the D, G, A. Now the blues master key, the way it's derived, once again, we take D, we take a D shape C, we go to a D minor shape, and then we're going to go to its relative parent, and that's the blues master key 1 is an E shape, okay, but it's an E shape, E flat. So here's the D, here's the E flat. So let's do it. We got now E pent blues here, okay. We call it a D minor pent, and this is very important why I'm doing this. We're getting up to the segment break, so obviously things are coming to the point. Why do we call this D minor pent? Because right here we have a D minor. Just do line draw. Let's do D color, nice D color. Hopefully we can see that a little easier. We do up here, get a little pink here. Okay, here is our D minor shape. So it's D minor pent right here. Because here's our D minor, and we're just going to play an E pent because the D minor shape is the relative, is one caged letter above the E minor. So E goes to D in caged, right? So this is where we get it from, and we just play our regular E. Right there is our D minor shape for as the sixth, which is a C minor there. It's actually a C minor. jettison on over to A minor pentatonic. When we hear people like Steve Stein talk about playing A minor pentatonic, what is it? We know from yesterday's piano. We can bounce back to that for a second. We'll find it, the A minor pentatonic shape. We look at A in the root key of the blues. Now I let you know I fixed this since the lesson. So it's nice. It's deserving because it was fixed. This is the blues pent key. This is root key of the blues. So if we're in the key of A here, it's A, C sharp, E. Okay, blues key like this. And of course, in blues you play it as a seventh, but we're not going to play the dominant seventh. Okay. When we want to do the A minor pentatonic, starting from